This was the last known place that my daughter was seen.
Keeshae Jacobs, she was 21 years old at the time of her disappearance. There has been a person of interest in this case. He was convicted of another crime in that house, strangulation of a woman. The girl was tied to this bed. The red flags have got to be going up all over the place. Abduction. This is our guy.
He is a predator.
I believe he gave her to someone. I believe my daughter's out there somewhere.
Now, a woman who lived in the same house reached out to us after seeing our story. Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe I could have done more and Keeshae would still be here, or?
Yeah, definitely.
I talk to her 2 and 3 times a day. This is not my daughter. And to go, this is the 3rd day not hearing from her is tearing me up because this is not her. And all I want to do is hear her voice and know she's okay. But my fear is that she's not going to come home. And I'm not going to tell her that I love her again.
Keeshae Jacobs, she was 21 years old at the time of her disappearance. The initial detective on the case was Detective Billy Thompson at RPD until he retired about a year ago. Right now they're kind of taking a 2-pronged approach. They have a homicide detective assigned to it and a missing persons detective assigned to it. The missing persons detective is Clarence Key, and the homicide detective assigned is Anthony Coates. How important is this house in this investigation?
Well, the house was very important because this is where she was at. She was dropped off here. We know she was inside, so it was very, very important. A lot of evidence was recovered inside and outside, so.
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at, yeah.
After about a year of doing stories on Keeshae's disappearance, I learned of a person of interest's name. We were reluctant to report it at the time because RPD asked us not to, but now 5 years into this thing, almost 6 years.
His name is Otis Tucker. He went by Omar. But yeah, his name was Otis Tucker. I just recently found out he was in Florida. My most concern at this point is him doing it to somebody else, or by the time the Commonwealth attorney decide to press charges or do what they need to do, he's gonna run. And it's gonna prolong the process when they should have locked him up or kept him in jail when they had.
Otis has been questioned by the police but not officially charged for the disappearance of Keeshae Jacobs. He is also convicted of a crime in that house of strangulation of a woman and also bodily harm. He was accused of rape, but that charge was dropped due to a plea deal. If you can, tell me about, there was another person this guy was arrested for and ended up serving time for.
Yes, there was an incident that was found out during the investigation of this case, and the person of interest is, I would probably say he is a predator. So.
We were interviewing the new detectives on the case when the homeowner, Karen G, came up and asked what we were doing. And when we told her, because she has a similar story in her family of a missing person that was found dead, she offered to let us inside. Let's get you out of this rain. So is this the bed that she was alleged to be tied to? Mm-hmm. The woman in that case actually talked to one of our producers via Facebook Messenger. Here's what she said. But this is what's crazy. After he attacked me, we fist fought until he got me locked down into a position that I couldn't stop him from strangling me. And when I woke up, I was tied up, but about 30 minutes later, Keeshae showed up, but he sent her away. She also said to our producer, the only way I even got away was because I let him drug me with Rimron, a psych medicine, but I have a tolerance, so it took 2 hours. He untied me after drugging me. I got up, got dressed like it was nothing, and he let me leave. DiSappearance is the great-granddaughter of the woman who lived in the house. How are you? She felt guilty when she saw the promo, so she decided to reach out. I'm John Burkett. Yep. Yep. She met Otis through work. There was a time that Otis lived on Maury Street. They'd get together, hang out. Keeshae was part of that group that would hang out with them. But eventually it got to a point where they needed to move. That's when she suggested Great-Grandma's place in Churchill.
I would say not even a week went past and I called the police and tried to get him removed from my great-grandma's house. They basically was like, he's basically a resident. They couldn't remove him from the house. And I'm like, well, he hasn't been here 30 days. He only paid $30 and I'm willing to give him his $30 back because I don't feel safe with him in the house.
Over the years, have you ever thought to yourself, maybe I could have done more and Keeshae would still be here, or?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel bad. It definitely didn't sit right with me. And I'm like, damn, if I would have tried harder to get him out of my grandma's house, or if I would have maybe put out a report of what he did to me, like, or if I would have got because even like my whole family to say that they didn't feel comfortable with him in the house.
When you hear the detective called him a predator, what do you think about that?
I would say that's 100% correct. And it's crazy because like you really don't know people until they show you your true colors, like, and he definitely showed his true colors that night.
DiSappearance's was very honest, I thought, about some of the things that were going on inside of her grandmother's house. She talked about drug activity, which I thought she was pretty upfront with. She talked about her relationship with her grandmother and how her grandmother always stuck up for Otis inside the house. Because Otis was basically brought there by DiSappearance to look after the grandmother. But for whatever reason, she said her great-grandma kept sticking up for Otis, so she decided it was time for her to go.
I just want my baby to come home, and if you see anything or think you've seen her, please call so she can come home and she can be okay. No more,
In the years past, I've grown to know Tony, Keeshae's mom. This woman has been through a lot.
She needs closure. That's the bond. She needs closure for this one, and I think both me and Detective Key and Detective Thompson, we all feel the same way that we really like to close this out for her. Basically, the bottom line is that you could put a case together, but we put the case together. Commonwealth attorney prosecutes the case, so it's just a matter of what they feel that they could do with the case. So
I know he gave the information to the Commonwealth attorney, and the Commonwealth attorney that had it since April. And I've been calling and I've been calling and I've been calling, and they keep telling me this is a process. What kind of process do you need? It's going on 6 years. September 26th will be 6 years.
Keeshae disappeared in September of 2016. Her son was murdered at the Motel 6 on Midlothian Turnpike months later.
I'll never get to tell my son I love him again, and I'll never get to hear it again. And I'm just praying Keeshae comes home so I can tell her I love her.
The guy that was serving time for her son's death, the killer in her son's case, is already out and about. He's already served his time and he's out. Just over the course of reporting this story for the last 2 months, I feel like we've made a lot of strides in this case, and I think we're getting closer and closer to figuring out exactly what happened for Miss Jacobs. And I think she feels it too. Just by talking to her on the phone, I think she feels like we are getting closer to answers. Tonight, when this airs, this will be the 6th anniversary of her daughter's disappearance. So, in my opinion, it's 6 years too long, and we need some closure for this woman.